Howdy folks, it's Adriel the Hunting Gear Guy. I wanted to show you guys this Beretta 1301 competition. This is a competition shotgun, kind of made for 3-gun. It's gas operated, semi-automatic. It handles 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells, and it's kind of neat. So before we get too far into this, let's just safety check it. I'm checking the magazine tube, and there's nothing in there, and there's nothing in the chamber. Let's take a look at what this thing's made of. Starting at the back, we've got this polymer buttstock. We've got a pretty stiff butt pad here. Not a lot of give on that guy, but this is a gas gun, so it's going to soak up some of the recoil. We've got a sling stud that's kind of tapped right here, but there is no sling stud with the shotgun. Given that this is a competition shotgun, that's okay, because you don't usually have to use your sling a lot. We've got this really sharp checkering on the grip here. This is like one of the most striking things when you pick up this shotgun, is just how sharp and grippy this is. And if you were to use this for a full day, you might want to wear some mechanics gloves, because it is really, really sharp. Alright, for controls here, we've got a couple of different ones. Our safety is just a standard oversized unit, nice and big, and it's contoured a little bit, so it's not really going to get in the way that much. Right on the bottom here on this shell carrier, we've got this button here. What this is going to do is when you press it, it's going to drop a shell out onto the latch, and if there's no shells in there, it's just going to let you lock the bolt to the rear. There's the bolt lock to the rear. This button up here is kind of a two-purpose. It'll allow you to drop the bolt, and it'll also allow you to drop rounds out of the magazine. So when it's up like this and you push it at the front, it's going to allow the bolts to drop. When you push it to the rear like this, it'll let shells come out of the magazine. This is a good and a bad, because it's not controlled the way that this guy is. This guy will just drop one. This guy will drop one or more, and it's really hard to control. So don't use this one to drop your shells out unless you're emptying the tube out. So if you're emptying the tube out, one of the things you can do is push down on this on the shell carrier, and as you're letting the shells go, just kind of push down this guy and work them out one at a time. So you don't need to actually run them through the action. You can use this guy to pull those shells out. So as an example here, I've got I got a couple shells in the tube right now, nothing on the latch. These are just dummy shells, by the way. And if I press this button, that's going to drop a shell out onto that carrier. And now I can load the shotgun with that round. Now if I want to take shells out of the gun, what I can do is I can push down on the carrier and then push on the back of this bolt release, and it'll also allow me to take those shells out. Now this one comes with a 24-inch barrel, but there are other barrel options available. On our forend here, we've got this really grippy polymer forend, just like before. We've got our magazine tube cap with a sling swivel right on the end here. Towards the middle, now we had a mid-bead on here, but it kind of fell off after shooting a couple of rounds through it, so I don't know where it is. I don't think it really matters all that much. We've got this really nice big fiber optic sight at the front. The entire top of the ribbed piece of this sight plane here is all really nicely checkered, and that's to reduce glare, so it doesn't really shine when you're trying to look down and you might be catching the sun off of it. So this is really nice and easy to look down and make quick snapshots, because this red fiber optic is very quick to pick up. Now the barrel is tapped for chokes. It takes the Optima HP chokes, and the 1301 competition comes with an improved cylinder. Let's go ahead and take this shotgun down. I'm just going to pull the bolt to the rear and start undoing our magazine cap. And we've been firing this one, so you can see there's a little bit of fouling on there. Now here's this piston on the front here. This is Beretta's blink system, and kind of what it lets the gas system do is put enough pressure to the rear here to actuate the system and actuate the action, but also let this extra gas come out the front here so it's not doing a whole ton of damage. So this is very cool. It's also self-cleaning, so you shouldn't actually have to clean it all that often. It'll just kind of scrub the carbon off as it goes. The system is also very fast. I found that it cycled this shotgun in 0.1 to 0.12 of a second compared to my Stoeger, which cycled ammunition at right around 0.16 of a second. So it is very hard to pull the trigger as fast as this shotgun can shoot it. All right, then towards the front here, we've got kind of an interesting action here. We've got that recoil spring here. I'm just going to let the action forward so you can kind of see that we've got this plastic sleeve on the outside, and we've got our action spring on the inside. This is somewhat similar to the Stoeger 3500, which I'm also reviewing right now, and that it's got the action spring at the front instead of embedded in the buttstock. But it's different in that it's got this very different action bars that it's using here instead. Now, rather than using a retention cap that's inside, that's metal, that you gotta like clamp or pry out to get out, we've just got this really easy plastic dealie that you just have to push in and then it'll come out, and it's very easy to pull out. This is a lot easier than on a lot of other shotguns out there. Now, to remove the bolt, all we're going to do is with our left hand, we're just going to push in on the bolt, and we're going to get it until we can see the gap here in the top of the key. You won't be able to see it on camera, but I can see it in person here. There we go. There's our bolt handle coming off, and then our bolt will just come off the front. Now, some of the interesting things about this bolt, one, it's welded to the action rods. That's kind of weird. Usually they ride on a carrier of sorts, but this one is firmly affixed to its action bars. Two, we've got this key along the top that's causing our rotation of the bolt, and the bolt head is locking into that barrel just with these bolt lugs here on the front. So this is a really nice system for having all your locking strength up front and having very little that's requiring of much strength back beyond the bolt. Okay, let's go ahead and ghost load this thing. So I'm just going to start by throwing a shell in there just to make it easy. Let's start loading up this tube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it won't accept a sixth. What we're going to do here is just pull it open a little bit, push that one down, and then pop another one in. That one's going to go into the chamber. This one's going to stay down. I'm going to make sure that the carrier is fully passing it, and then I throw it forward. Now I've got this thing loaded right up. It comes in this really nice case. Inside the case, we have the shotgun itself, manuals, some spacers for the butt. We've got a choke wrench, a couple of plugs if you wanted to take it hunting, and this nice little blue thingamabobber on the barrel. So let's take a look at this thing in detail. So here we have our two different lengths for the plugs for the magazine. Here we have the drop and cast adjustments that you can put into the stock. There's our choke wrench. There's our spacers if you've got big long arms and you need to space out your shotgun a little bit more. There's our two screws that are a little bit more extended, so they'll go all the way through into the stock. And here's our manual and warranty.
Well,